The silent financial killers draining middle-class wealth that everyone ignores. You think you know where your money goes every month, but let me tell you something that's going to shake up everything you believe about your finances. Right now, as you're watching this, there are invisible hands reaching into your wallet, pulling out hundreds, even thousands of dollars, and you don't even notice it happening. This isn't some conspiracy theory. This is the brutal reality that's keeping hard-working middle-class families stuck on a financial treadmill going nowhere fast while wondering why they can never seem to get ahead no matter how hard they work. I'm about to expose the hidden financial traps that are systematically destroying middle-class wealth. And here's the kicker. Most financial experts won't talk about this because they're either selling you something or they're benefiting from keeping you in the dark. What I'm sharing today comes from years of analyzing thousands of family budgets, and the patterns I've discovered are absolutely shocking. By the end of this video, you're going to see your spending in a completely different light, and you'll have the exact blueprint to plug these money leaks before they drain your future dry. Let's start with the biggest silent killer that nobody wants to admit is destroying their wealth, and that's lifestyle inflation marketed as necessity. We've been conditioned to believe that certain expenses are just part of modern life when they're actually luxuries disguised as essentials. Think about your monthly subscriptions for a second. The average middle-class household is now spending over $300 per month on subscription services, and most people can't even name half of them. You've got your streaming platforms, your music services, your cloud storage, your meal kits, your fitness apps, your productivity tools, and on it goes. Each one seems small. Just $10 here, $15 there, but they multiply like rabbits, and before you know it, you're bleeding thousands per year on things you barely use. But here's where it gets even more insidious. These companies have weaponized human psychology against you. They know that once you subscribe, you're unlikely to cancel even if you stop using the service, because the pain of going through the cancellation process feels greater than the small monthly charge. They're literally banking on your inertia, and it's working brilliantly for them while quietly destroying your ability to build wealth. A family earning $70,000 a year spending $300 monthly on subscriptions is giving away nearly 6% of their gross income before taxes on services that add virtually zero value to their actual quality of life. Now let's talk about the second massive wealth destroyer, and this one hits different because it feels responsible on the surface, but it's actually a trap. I'm talking about car payments that have become normalized as a permanent fixture in middle-class budgets. The average new car payment in America has crossed $700 per month, and people are stretching these loans out to 6, even 7 years, telling themselves they can afford it because they can make the monthly payment. This is financial insanity dressed up as adulting. Here's the truth bomb most people need to hear. Your car depreciates the moment you drive it off the lot, losing roughly 20% of its value in the first year alone, while you're paying interest on money you borrowed to buy an asset that's guaranteed to decrease in value. If you're middle class and you're driving a brand new $40,000 SUV with a loan, you've already lost the wealth-building game before you even started playing. The real cost isn't just the $700 monthly payment, it's the opportunity cost of what that money could have done for you invested over those same years. That same $700 invested monthly with average market returns would be worth over $600,000 in 30 years. But instead, it goes to making car payments on vehicles that become worth less and less. The third hidden expense demolishing middle-class finances is convenience spending, and this one is particularly brutal because it sneaks up on you disguised as time-saving and productivity. We're talking about food delivery apps, Restaurant meals because you're too tired to cook, premium coffee runs, and all the small conveniences that seem harmless individually but compound into financial destruction. The average middle-class family now spends more on eating out and food delivery than they do on groceries, and they wonder why they can't save money. Think about this pattern. You order delivery 3 times a week at $30 per order, including fees and tip. That's $360 per month, or over $4,000 per year on food that you're paying double or triple for compared to cooking at home. But wait, it gets worse because this spending is often invisible. You're not withdrawing cash and watching it leave your hand, you're just tapping a button on your phone and boom, food appears. The psychological disconnect between the action and the financial consequence makes it feel like it's not real money. But I promise you, when you're 65 and wondering why you don't have a retirement fund, this convenience spending will have played a starring role in that story. Here's the fourth silent killer, and this one is going to make some people uncomfortable, but it needs to be said. Housing costs have spiraled completely out of control, and middle-class families are bankrupting their futures by overstretching on mortgages or rent because they've been sold a lie about what they deserve. The old rule was spend no more than 28% of your gross income on housing, but now people are routinely spending 40, even 50%, and justifying it by saying housing is expensive everywhere. Yes, housing costs have increased, but that doesn't change the mathematics of wealth building. When you're spending half your income on housing, you have nothing left to invest, nothing left to build wealth, and you're one emergency away from financial catastrophe. The pressure to live in the right neighborhood, send kids to the right schools, and keep up with societal expectations is causing families to make housing decisions that guarantee they'll never build wealth. You cannot save your way to wealth when housing is eating half your income, and this is especially true when you factor in all the hidden costs that come with expensive housing, like higher property taxes, more expensive maintenance, bigger utility bills, and the lifestyle inflation that comes from living in an affluent area where everyone else is also overspending. Now let's get into the fifth wealth destroyer. And this is one that affects millions of families but gets almost zero attention in mainstream financial advice. It's the parent tax, the endless flow of money toward children's activities, entertainment, and experiences that have become expected rather than occasional treats. Youth sports alone have become a multi-billion-dollar industry, with families spending thousands per year on club teams, travel tournaments, equipment, and specialized coaching for kids who statistically have almost zero chance of ever playing professionally or even getting a significant college scholarship. But it's not just sports. It's music lessons, art classes, tutoring, summer camps, birthday parties that cost more than adult weddings used to, and a constant stream of toys, gadgets, and entertainment. Parents are bankrupting themselves out of fear that their children will fall behind or miss out, and this fear is being expertly manipulated by an entire industry designed to extract maximum dollars from guilty, anxious parents. The average middle-class family with 2 kids is now spending over $10,000 per year on child-related activities and experiences that previous generations somehow survived without. And this doesn't even include the baseline costs of raising children. The sixth hidden expense is healthcare costs, even for people with insurance. And this one is perhaps the most frustrating because you can do everything right and still get destroyed financially. High-deductible health plans have shifted massive costs onto individuals, and families are now sitting on thousands of dollars in medical debt or avoiding necessary care because they can't afford the out-of-pocket costs, even with insurance. A single emergency room visit can cost thousands. After insurance, a specialist appointment can run hundreds, and prescription medications are priced at levels that would make a mob boss blush. Middle-class families are caught in a nightmare scenario where they make too much to qualify for assistance, but not enough to actually afford health care when they need it. And here's the insidious part. This isn't an expense you can cut or optimize away. You can cancel subscriptions, you can drive an older car, you can cook at home. But when your kid breaks an arm or you need surgery, you have no choice but to pay whatever they charge. This unpredictability and uncontrollability of healthcare costs is keeping millions of families from ever building a financial cushion because any savings get wiped out by medical expenses. The seventh wealth destroyer is consumer debt masquerading as manageable monthly payments, and this includes everything from credit cards to buy now, pay later schemes that have exploded in popularity. The average middle-class household carrying credit card debt is paying over $1,000 per year just in interest, not paying down principal, just interest to credit card companies for the privilege of having spent money they didn't have. Buy now, pay later services have made it even easier to spend money you don't have by removing the psychological barrier of credit card debt and reframing it as a simple payment plan. The real damage isn't just the interest, it's the way debt changes your relationship with money and limits your options. When you're in debt, you're working for the past instead of the future. Every dollar that goes to debt payments is a dollar that can't go toward building wealth. You become trapped in a cycle where you're constantly catching up, never getting ahead, and vulnerable to any financial shock because you have no margin for error. Here's what you need to understand about all these hidden expenses. They're not happening in isolation. They're compounding and reinforcing each other, creating a financial quicksand that's almost impossible to escape without radical changes. A family paying for car loans, subscriptions, convenience spending, oversized housing, kids' activities, healthcare costs, and servicing debt is living paycheck to paycheck, even on a six-figure income, because all these small leaks add up to a flood. So what do you do about this? First, you have to get brutally honest about where your money actually goes. Track every single expense for 1 month. No judgment, just data. You cannot fix what you cannot see, and most people have no idea how much they're actually spending in these categories. Second, you need to make hard choices about what actually matters. Not everything marketed as necessary is actually necessary, and you have to be willing to live differently than your peers if you want different financial results. Cut the subscriptions you don't actively use every single week. Drive used cars that you can pay for in cash, even if it means driving something less impressive. Cook at home and treat restaurants as occasional experiences, not daily convenience. Right-size your housing to something you can truly afford, even if it means a smaller place or a less trendy neighborhood. Be selective and honest about kids' activities, focusing on what they actually love rather than trying to do everything. Build an emergency fund specifically for healthcare costs and shop around for better insurance options during open enrollment. Attack debt with intensity, paying off high-interest debt before doing anything else. The middle class is being hollowed out not because people aren't working hard enough, but because the system has been designed to extract maximum money from you in ways that feel normal and necessary. Every industry has figured out how to get their hand in your pocket on a recurring basis, and they're very good at making you feel like you're failing if you don't participate. But building wealth requires swimming against this current, making choices that feel uncomfortable, and being willing to be different. Your future self is depending on the choices you make today, and every dollar you spend on these hidden expenses is a dollar stolen from your future financial freedom. The path to wealth for middle-class families isn't complicated. It's spending significantly less than you earn and investing the difference consistently over time. But you cannot do that when hidden expenses are eating up every dollar before you even think about investing. This isn't about deprivation. It's about awareness and intentionality. It's about taking back control from systems designed to keep you broke and making choices aligned with your actual values rather than societal pressure. The families who build wealth aren't the ones with the highest incomes. They're the ones who refuse to let these hidden expenses destroy their future and who are willing to make different choices than everyone around them. If this video opened your eyes to where your money is really going, smash that like button, subscribe for more financial truth bombs, and drop a comment telling me which hidden expense hit hardest for you. Because awareness is the first step toward change, and your financial future starts with the choices you make right now, today.